Hey there, boys and ghouls. It's your friend Tara and Tats, and I'm back with another video. And today, I'm pretty happy. If you recall, right about when I first started this channel, I did a video talking about this because it was just announced. But Shout Factory, Scream Factory, they were going to put out Krampus, The Naughty Cut. Now, Krampus, it's a great Christmas horror movie. I love it. And I know a lot of people were pretty disappointed by it when it first came out because it was PG-13. And, usually if you're a horror fan, you know, usually like, yeah, PG-13 horror films you kind of tend to avoid, because you want your horror films to be like the more extreme, the better kind of a thing. Well, Scream Factory announced that Michael Dougherty, the co-writer director of Krampus, was putting together the Naughty Cut, which is going to be a little bit more of an extreme version of the movie. And today we finally have it, and it's been released. And I just got done watching it, and I'm very much impressed with it, and got to see it in 4K. So that's nice. I would say that's probably going to be a downside though for fans of the theatrical cut. Now, I don't know. Maybe at some point, maybe Universal might decide to go ahead and put the theatrical cut of Krampus out on 4K. But that is going to be a downside if you get this, is you don't get the theatrical cut in 4K. It's just the naughty cut. And but honestly, I was pretty impressed with it, and I had fun with it. But I'm going to tell you guys right off the bat, okay? So this may be a deal breaker for some people because if I think maybe what some people might be thinking is like, wow, okay, Krampus the Naughty Cut. Does that mean we're gonna get, are we gonna get some blood? Are we gonna get some gore, things like that? No, no, you don't. To be perfectly honest with you, this Naughty Cut, it's in terms of the horror aspects of the film, it's basically the exact same thing what you've seen in the theatrical version. So I'm sorry. So if you're expecting to see like heads being lopped off and things like that, no, you're not going to get that with this version. Now, the theatrical cut runs 1 hour and 38 minutes. The naughty cut runs 1 hour and 42 minutes. So you get 4 extra minutes of footage. Um, and really, what that pertains to is you could tell that these were scenes added back into the movie. You could tell probably when they did their first edit, getting the movie ready to put out in theaters, a lot of this stuff was trimmed out basically just to kind of, tighten the running time on and kind of keep the pace going, kind of keep it fast and, fast and furious, But, now that they added it back in, it's not bad because what it ends up doing is you do get a couple more little snippets of footage with Conchata Ferrell as Aunt Dorothy, and she gets some funny lines. So you get some extra humor in the movie, and you do get the scene where, okay, like the scene where Howie and Tommy go to look for Beth. Well, in the meanwhile, Sarah and Linda, they're in the house, and Linda's looking at the tree, and she's talking to Sarah about, wow, you still kept Mom's angel, and you kept everything, and she's like, yeah, that's what Mom would have done. And they have a little bit of an extra dialogue talking about like when they were growing up and stuff. And you do get a little bit of extra. Basically, what you get is a little bit more footage of character development. That's probably the best way I can describe it. You get, some extra scenes of, the two, David Keckner, Howard's daughters, kind of, in the beginning of the movie, they're kind of very, very butch, not very masculine kind of girls or anything like that. But you get to see that they do have a bit of a kind of a soft side to them. And, you get to see a lot of the characters' humanity come out a little bit more. So you get a little bit more character development. And thus it ends up making the characters more likable and kind of makes them a little bit more sympathetic because, when comparing this to the theatrical version, I kind of felt like, yeah, in the theatrical version, kind of like the characters for the most part, kind of overall, kind of just a little bit jerks. I hate to say, and excuse me, with maybe a couple of exceptions, for the most part, just the characters didn't seem that redeemable. In this movie, in this version of the movie, you get a little bit more dialogue going between characters, which kind of, like I said, it really brings out their characters more. It makes them more likable, makes them more um, gives them more of a humanity. So that's where a lot of your extra footage comes in. Now, that being said, you do get some extra, the naughty part really comes in. You get a couple of extra F-bombs in the movie. In the theatrical cut, you only got the one. When Aunt Dorothy is saying, we're all, and because I'm old enough to know when life is coming at you with his pants down, and stuff like that. So you get a little bit more kind of naughty dialogue. That's pretty much about it. But in terms of, like I said, if you're thinking of, oh man, this is going to be good. We're going to see like somebody get their throat cut and, like blood spraying all over the place. You're not going to get that. That's not at all what you're going to get. Like I said, in terms of the horror content, you're just getting what you've seen in the theatrical cut. However, there is one thing that I really do enjoy, and one thing that really put a smile on my face when I was watching this. Now, Michael Dougherty, the co-writer and director of this movie, wrote and directed I would have to say probably the greatest Halloween horror anthology of all time, Trick or Treat. And if you haven't seen Trick or Treat, I recommend watch it as soon as you can. It's a wonderful movie. It's a great horror movie. And that movie, you get more gore and stuff like that. The stuff you were kind of hoping you get with this movie, but you get it in that movie. And that movie, I swear, it did for me, and I'm sure it will for other horror movie fans. The minute you watch it, after which, it's going to become essential Halloween viewing. You're going to want to watch it every single year. I do. But that being said, there is a part in this movie. It's almost kind of blink and you miss it, but it is there. And you do get, a couple of Easter eggs, to, the movie Trick or Treat. And I really like that. That really put a smile on my face. And the reason why it did was because it's like, I don't know, maybe it's intentional, maybe it's not, but I like the idea that, Dougherty, tries to connect this movie to Trick or Treat and try to kind of make a universe out of it. And now I would love Trick or Treat 2. I think every horror fan who's seen Trick or Treat would. We all want Trick or Treat 2. Doesn't look like we're going to get that anytime soon, because after this, Dougherty went on to, co-write and direct Godzilla, King of the Monsters, and work on Godzilla versus Kong, stuff like that. I don't know what he's got planned for the future, but unfortunately, at this point, it really doesn't look like we're going to be getting Trick or Treat 2 anytime soon. But one thing, if we're not going to get that, I would actually like to see Dougherty continue making holiday-themed horror films. And basically have Easter eggs within them. Like maybe the next one could be like a Easter horror movie. And, you could put some Easter eggs from this movie into that movie, and maybe even something from Trick or Treat. The idea is kind of make it this all kind of universe of holiday themed horror films in which it's all connected in this one universe. I would love to see Dougherty do that. If we're not going to get Trick or Treat, I would love to see something like that. Hopefully, maybe that's something that we can maybe look forward to. I don't know. Time will tell, but for the most part though, I just love the idea that, that maybe that was a possibility that Dougherty wanted to, basically have all of his holiday horror movies connect to each other. So, hopefully. And now that I think about it, now that we have Krampus on 4K, I am really, really hoping that the time will come pretty soon that Trick or Treat will get a 4K release. And that would be awesome. I would love to have both Krampus and Trick or Treat in 4K on my shelf. Ooh, yeah, pretty sexy. So anyway, so now let's talk about the release. All right, the 4K scan, in my opinion, it looks amazing. It looks astonishing. I don't know if anybody else had any kind of issues when they got their discs, but I was very lucky in the sense that the disc that I have, no problems with it. The 4K scan looks amazing. One thing I really noticed, the scenes in the home when like all the electricity is out and all, everything is lit by candle or the firelight in the fireplace, they have no lights and everything else. To me, it kind of jumped out at me because, all of us at one time or another, we've all had to spend, times where we had no power and we're stuck in a blackout and, all we have is just flashlights or, candles or, like the fireplace or something like that to give us light and things like this. And I felt that, with the 4K scan, the look of it felt very natural. To the eyes, at least to my eyes anyway, it looks what I always could remember, a home in a blackout where all you have is candles and flashlights and stuff. It looked very natural to me. And another thing that I thought looked really good was of course, you've heard me say it before in other videos, like when you do a 4K scan, you kind of tend to tab down the brighter colors and you kind of elevate the darker colors. And in this case, I do think it kind of works because, Krampus, even though if you've seen the movie, you clearly know it's a guy in a rubber suit, with mechanical eyes and things like that. You know that. But one thing I kind of noticed was that with the bringing down the brighter colors and elevating the darker colors, it kind of tends to hide its features a little bit more, make it a little bit more obscure, and it had a little bit more of a realism to it, in my opinion. I remember watching looking at the Blu-ray, the theatrical cut Blu-ray, and just remembering it's like, wow, it's so obvious. You could tell that's what you're staring at. It's a fake face with mechanical eyes and things like this. And to me, I think that the 4K just kind of really kind of hid some of that, kind of like really, darkened it down a little bit. And while it's still obvious, it doesn't seem as obvious as when you watch it on, the 1080p Blu-ray. So I was really happy about that. So I think that the transfer was really good. The Dolby Atmos on here was amazing. The Dolby Atmos mix, yeah, great. If you have, a really good sound system, yeah, be prepared. This is going to blow you out of your seat. And anyway, yeah, just so what do we got here? All right, so disc one, we have the 4K Blu-ray with a new Dolby Atmos mix. We have audio commentary with director, co-writer Michael Dougherty, and co-writers Todd Casey and Zach Shields. And on disc two, you have the Blu-ray, which is also the Naughty Cut. I do remember at first when they announced this that they were talking about, well, the problem is the Naughty Cut is only going to be on the 4K. You're not going to get it on Blu-ray. And I remember that kind of caused a little bit of a stir. Well, the Naughty Cut is on the Blu-ray. And you get the new Dolby Atmos mix. You get new interviews with Michael Dougherty, visual effects artist Richard Taylor, actors Allison Tolman, David Keckner, and MJ Anthony, co-writer, producer Todd Casey, and more. You get audio commentary with Michael Dougherty, Todd Casey, and Zach Shields. You get an alternate ending. You get deleted extended scenes, a gag reel, Krampus Comes Alive, 5-part featurette including Dougherty's vision, The Naughty Ones Meet the Cast, Krampus and His Minions, Practical Danger, and Inside the Snow Globe production design, behind the scenes at Weta Workshop, Krampus, still gallery, theatrical trailer, and TV spots. So you get you get several more new bonus features. Well, actually, it's more like a couple, but they do import all of the bonus features over from the Universal. So there is that. Now, unfortunately, we don't get the slipcase, which I wish now I'm kind of going back wishing they didn't do that with the Halloween movies and like with Elvira Haunted Hills. Because now I was sitting there, oh man, I hope they start doing that with everything. And I was really hoping they were going to do that with this. But nope. Slipcover. That's what you get. Just kind of the old tried and true slipcover. So here's the front of the slipcover. And then there's the back. Yeah, Max screaming. Okay, and like all, like all of the Scream Factory's collector's editions, you get the reversible cover art. This here is the original poster art. So got that on there. And there's on the back. I can go ahead and show you the reversible cover art is pretty much the same thing you've seen as on the slipcover. So, but I know that's one feature that a lot of people love about Scream Factory is that when they do the, collector's editions and stuff like that, they always do the reversible cover art. And I know a lot of people are like, that's the irritating thing about cover art and slipcovers is when the slipcover is exactly the same thing. It's like kind of like give us something different. I know a lot of collectors love that sort of things. Excuse me. And here we go. We got hang on one second. Trying to get it so you guys can see the disc art. So, okay. So there we go. You have the Blu-ray, which has the original poster art. And you got the 4K Blu-ray, which has the commission artwork. As you can see, they both say the Naughty Cut. And so, yeah. And overall, I'm very, very happy with this edition. I'm so glad that I got it. And, it's like, I only picked this up, it was $28.99, which, if you think about it, for 4K, that's not a bad price at all. So you do get a good price on it. And plus, too, if you're afraid like you weren't going to get the Naughty Cut on Blu-ray, you can relax because it is on here. You do get it. I would just say, though, like, I think that would be the only thing. Is like, Krampus has been out for a number of years now. When did this come out? 2015. So this movie's been out for 6 years now. And I think there are probably going to be some people out there who are going to be like, I don't know. I've gotten so used to the theatrical cut. I don't know. So that may be a consideration is, you can have this, but you may have gotten so used to the PG-13 version that you may not even want to get rid of that. You may, there are probably going to be some people out there. And, that's the thing. With it being PG-13, you can show it to your family and, maybe have your kids watch it and stuff like that. This here, it's like, you could still, but just be aware there's a little bit more filthy language in it. So if you're opposed to that kind of thing, you may want to hold on to the PG-13 version just so you have a version of it that you can watch with your kids. But if you're expecting, anything like really gratuitous, like gratuitous violence, nudity, it's not there. Like I said, the extra 4 minutes added onto the film is mostly scenes of dialogue and humor and character development, and that's pretty much what you're going to get. But for 4K lovers, yeah, you're definitely going to want this. If you love this movie, you're going to want this. And I highly recommend picking it up. It's totally worth it, in my opinion. But this does make me excited, It's like watching this, like I said a little while ago, I really hope that we could look forward to getting Trick or Treat on 4K in the near future. I hope maybe Scream Factory will take care of that. I'm hoping that, that's another thing too. I remember, if you remember the stop motion animation sequence in here, where Omi is talking about, her being a little girl and her meeting Krampus and stuff. It looks phenomenal in 4K. The animation looks so good in 4K. It makes me really, really, really wish we could start getting some of these animated movies like Nightmare Before Christmas, Corpse Bride, Coraline, movies like that, with kind of the stop motion animation. I really honestly hope that that's something we could start to maybe look forward to in the future. Nightmare Before Christmas, that's Disney, so I don't know. I'm not holding my breath for that one too much. As much as I want it, not looking forward to that one too much. But maybe like Corpse Bride and like I said, Coraline, movies like that, with just a small sequence, how good it looked in 4K, I really hope that that's something we could look forward to in the future. But also too, it's like, unfortunately, I do believe this is the only Christmas movie or Christmas theme movie that we're going to get on 4K this month. Nothing else. I've heard the rumors, I'm sure you have too, that there's talk about Christmas Vacation getting a 4K next year and stuff. But yeah, it's really, really sad. We don't have a lot of good Christmas stuff out on 4K yet. We got a few things. We got like Home Alone, even though everyone's, well, where's Home Alone 2, and stuff like that. But like, a lot of the big Christmas movies, like Christmas Story, we don't have that in 4K yet. Do we have any version of Christmas Carol in 4K? I'm not even sure. Christmas Vacation, Home Alone 2, all that kind of, but also too the Christmas horror movies. I'm really hoping that we could start seeing that coming pretty soon. I'm hoping that, hopefully by next Christmas we can get the original Black Christmas on 4K. Maybe we could get Silent Night, Deadly Night, so on. I'm really hoping. It's keeping me very hopeful for the future, and I'm really hoping that, new, really good, Christmas movies and Christmas horror movies in 4K. I hope that's really something we can really start to look forward to. But I think I'm going on long enough. But yeah, in my opinion, it's totally worth it. It's at a decent price. At least it's not $40, $50 like what some of these boutique companies are charging for their 4K. So, I mean, at least it's a reasonable price. So I would say, yeah, go ahead and pick up Krampus on the Naughty Cut on 4K. It's totally worth it, in my opinion. And, you want a good horror, Christmas horror movie, you're going to have something good to watch this Halloween. Or this Halloween? I'm sorry, this Christmas. So anyway, so that's going to do it, everybody. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like. If you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. I hope to have much more content coming out in the near future. And, just kind of like waiting for stuff as it comes along so I can review it and, put it up. So anyway, that's it, everybody. Take care, my boils and ghouls. I'll see you later. Have a good night and